Hello, Craig Daughtery here with your operational update for the Beachie Creek Fire, September 20th. I'm the Ops Section Chief for the Southwest Area Incident Management Team 2 with your update. So we'll go ahead, orient the fire again. We got the Riverside Fire up here, Lions Head Fire down here, Detroit Lake, Salem's off the map here, town of community of Silverton. So busy day today again out on the fire line. Today we've got an influx of resources coming in from our partners in Canada. So we're busy getting them briefed up and getting them ready to deploy their assets out into the fire area. And those folks will mainly be seen down here on the south end of the fire where the fire impacted a lot of the communities there in the 22 corridor. So overall, things are looking well. Looking up here on the north end of the fire, the crews and resources continue to engage the fire where possible, going in that direct fashion like we've talked about for several days. And everything's looking well. We've got some of this in a patrol and mop-up status, which means that we're basically kind of just monitoring and make sure we've got everything, but that means things are looking very good. That's kind of the status all the way around. A lot of these fingers, those again fingers of fire that are poking out here to the west. We've got the leading front of all those in good spots. There were some questions about the Drake's Corner area. That area is looking real good. That finger of fire that was pushing in there has got containment lines in front of that. We've got some indirect lines that are basically a contingency line in place there as well. So things are looking real well. Only heat that we're seeing is up here in the very upper end of Butte Creek. Not a concern, but people might see some smoke in that area, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a second. But that area there, we've got a little bit of smoke, a little bit of fire backing down to some roads. Have resources there watching that, ready to engage that when the time is right so that we can be successful. We're still working in this big pocket here in Abaquaw Basin. That operation will get really full swing as we go into next week. All the resources are being brought in for that operation and things are looking good. Still in patrol status here and some mop up here on this very far west finger that's just below the Silver Falls State Park for the orientation there. That's where this is at. Coming on around in all of our communities here along the 22 corridor. Crews continue to try to get in there and mop up around some of those structures, working the edge where we can, and we've got some hose lays in place, and we're going to, like I said, we're going to insert a lot of resources in there the next few days and really get some good deep mop up done around all the structures. Those communities, we really don't feel there's any risk there, and I want to talk a little bit about that. We're getting a lot of phone calls about smoke reports. You know, obviously we know there's still a lot of burning stump holes and those type of things that are still going on in this area. And now with the public in there, we're getting a lot of phone calls to go take care of those. So here in the 22 corridor where we have communities that are threatened, you know, one of our concerns in there is some of the smokes that we're seeing in there, and the public are calling in a lot of those smokes that are interior of our fire line. And what happens there is it takes us away from some of our critical tasks where we're trying to contain the fire edge and work some of our critical areas in there around some structures. We recognize that those are in there, so that we ask you to really look at that smoke. If it's surrounded by black, and what we mean by black is everything's burned out around it, and it's not spreading any direction, then that smoke is not a concern to us at this point. We will eventually try to get to some of those. Some of those that are well interior, we're going to actually just let them burn out just because we don't have the resources. So things that we're concerned about are those areas where we have fire next to unburned fuels, next to unburned structures or outbuildings or different types of private assets. If those are unburned fuels in those areas and there's a fire at the edge of that, then we want to know about those so that we can take care of those, and that's what we're focusing on as we do that work. Or that anything that could have a potential to spread. If there's a lot of black around that, we're not concerned about it spreading, and that's why we haven't got to that at this point. The other thing that just coming on out here on the very southwest and south side of the fire, We do have crews in here working. There is some heat that we know is in this area here in what we call Rock Creek. We're going to focus on that today, getting some crews in there. And once we get our Canadian assets deployed in this area, it's going to free up some of our assets to get down in here and really get a good plan built there. Out around Detroit Lake, we've continued to get in that area and work where we can, where that fire's checked up against some roads. And we've got a good plan in place there, and we're looking for opportunities to take that and work it. The other thing I want to talk about is just the concerns. North Fork, I know there's a lot of people that want to get into North Fork. That area is still in an assessment phase, mainly because of the hazards that are associated with the severe burn that occurred in a lot of that area. We do have a lot of areas where we still have down power lines, we have hazard trees, and we still need to do a lot of work in there with our crews, working around some of the structures that remain in there. We're going to be working that operation very hard for the next few days to try to get where we can open that up. I do encourage people to be careful and as they repopulate. Again, there's a lot of hazard associated with a burn such as this. We have hazard trees, there's stump holes, there's smoke. Some of the animals have been displaced, so just know you're going into an area that's not normal like it was before you left the fire. And we just encourage people to be very heads up. We say look up, look down, look around. With that concludes your report for today. Thank you.